Here we go. MMTs. You don't want to believe it? Let me show you about slide that bid. Here it is. We're going into the last 12 minutes. FCX all-time high. All week. The sixth trading day in a row. All 5 days last week. Slide the bid. Look at Apple. Slide the bid. Slide the bid. Slide the bid. Shorting them down. That's the left side of the market. Today is day one. Today's date 12/13/2010. Now that the excitement level is here, $4 off the high. Look at here. The biggest 52-week high in FCX. And they just slid that bid because they did. And 117.40 is an all-time high on FCX. Google 603 down. Only up 3.61. All of the gap ratios that we talked about in pre-market, folks, was that the pullback in price action would be diminished. There's no diminishing in the pullback. And it's the same trade that was going on last week. All 5 days in a row. As indexes made their highs, the big profiteers came in and sold into the news. There was no diminishing pullback in price in the leaders. And guess what? That's the way it is. And it's pretty evident that today is day 6. It's also a quadruple witching options expiration week. We're going to come right back. Look at here. We're going to be buying these dips here on the 320 call, or right here on this call contract. It's a 310 call. We'll buy the dips. They were 15.30 on the highs. They expire. Boy, that's a 310 call in the money, and you're only up 87 pennies. So when they get this oversold with a quadruple witch, we're going to have loaded economic data this week. We are going to see so much price action on these gaps, selling them down. The 6th day in a row, indexes and equities have sold from those very highs. Not only that, MMTs, as we move into the last hour, NASDAQ comp down 10, NDX down 6, all erasing a lot of the gains on the Dow, and the S&P is vulnerable. We've got a quadruple witch. We've got options expiring. We've got index rotation options and quarterly options and all kinds of different things that are expiring. And it's going to be a good triple witch. And once again, MMTs, go back to our pre-market about slide these bids. And they slid these bids hard. You can see that Netflix. That Netflix is down $10 off the high. 194.63 gap down. The minute that it gapped down, it had that reversal, as I said, and bam, and down you went. And you can see here the Apples, and you can see here the Amazons just getting crushed off of 177.94, going into the closing bell with 9 minutes left in the price action tape. And guess what? There was a boatload of money selling short again for the 6th day in a row as people were moving in. The bears were just piling short on top of the market, and the profiteers were selling into their highs, closing out their year-end December books. Obviously, it's been that way for 6 days in a row. As you can see, the bloodbath in the late part of the trading action. We still really enjoy FCX, and we're buying it right now off of the lows intraday. We're buying Apple right now off of the lows. There's the Apple calls right there off of their lows. We came off 15.30. That's $3 lower. Do the math. That's the wholesale entering the options market, MMT. Boy, it's going to be a wonderful week, because it's going to be volatile on price action, and we're going to have gaps, and options are going to be getting wholesale. We're so patient that we get to be this part of the crowd. The intraday low was 1180. MMTs, not only that, you can see how that bull TQQ made an all-time high and has fallen $3 off the high. What a wonderful short. You called the SMF MMT slide the bid. Well, that is slide the bid. That means there was $3 made to the downside. There was $4 made here from that top down on a short, $4 made there. And they took $3 out of the calls, which we're buying. We like this trade right here. Not only that, FCX 117.40 all the way down. They will be bouncing off their bottoms. But look at here. Look at that bull. Just get taken out. And the lows are the lows. And we keep putting in lower lows. And we keep selling into the close. It's all live on 12/13. We got 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. Selling short. Selling short. Sell short the highs of work. Day 6 in a row. Day number 6 on selling the high short in the actual 6 trading days. And we're starting a new week out. And you can see where the leaders in these areas are getting hammered. Okay? Hey, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Let's throw that in there. Goldman Sachs hit a high. It hasn't pulled back that much. Come back up to that 170.92. That one's holding good in that sector. $25 million positive money flow as they just hammer Netflix and they just hammer that bull. Look at him hammer that bull. Look at him hammer that into the close. And this is what it's about, being a market maker at SMF. Bottom line. Directional price movement, failure. And once again, it's all about how to slide the bid. The other thing that we're going to talk about is the big breakout on the VIX going into the closing bell. And I'll be doing that also. But take a look here, folks. Look at this humongous breakout on the fear indicator. Look at the first breakout of the day. Look at this bottom that we put in. And as we broke higher, because it's evident that when this breaks higher, all of these sell off. All of it. That was the fear indicator. We threw that in there. We shorted the Goldman SMF MMTs. This is called the VXN. And it's directly correlated with the NASDAQ 100 and the NASDAQ. And we're so complacent that I'll have to do some special follow-ups on these, because the thing about it is we got so complacently down here at below the 17 handle. We broke out. We broke up. Today they brought it back down. But look at this for today's trading day. You can see right here that this big breakout. This big breakout equals all of this failure here. All of these names down here, except for Goldman now. Let's put Amazon or Netflix back in there. That's why they're sliding that bid. And we're so complacent. We're so complacent. There's no fear. As I said this morning, one of the things about this particular options expiration was about the fear indicator being too low. And that's this one right here. And after the closing bell, I'm going to put together a couple. I'm going to do both of these, the VIX and the VXN, a special update, because the problem with the reason why they're selling into the highs, I can tell you why, is because this was at its all-time lows. When this is low, there's no fear, MMTs. That's the way it is going into the closing bell. We got 1 minute to the closing bell. Big breakout on the VXN. Big breakout on the VIX, the fear indicator. Equities selling off their highs. Bear getting down. Stocks selling short right off their highs in big directions. Call contracts that were up here at 1530 have now given up $3 of their move on the contracts during this wild options volatility, and it's a triple witch. And the thing that I said about the options expiration, and I will be doing a special for you MMTs, because it was so low, that was going to create, there was no fear. And guess what? That's where slide that bid. There's that closing bell. There it is. There, that was a big buy on that one. Here it is. Here it is. Right here. We're closing out the tape. $67 million this show sold in Google. $60 million in Netflix. Netflix had $60 million go out of it. Let's take a look at FCX, where it landed. It landed, FCX, big sells, 167,000 on a big block selling on the closing bell. Went negative. Oh, don't tell me. Let's take a look at the money flows there. That's nothing big on the bull. It's an ETF, but guess what? $28 million right here. $28 million coming out. Big block selling. Big block selling. Amazon.com, 181,715 shares. Big block selling. And it's all because of that VXN was so low, no fear. Guess what happens? You get moves like this. It's very complacent. And the big sellers hit it. There is no fear. The fear indicators are at all-time lows. And indexes are hitting all-time highs. We're going to do some really good training on it, MMTs. That's the closing bell.